All right, let's do it.
Both of you are under arrest for prostitution!
It's not prostitution.
You paid her to have sex!
No, I paid her to have sex and we're filming it. So technically it's not prostitution, it's a porno.
Oh, well, as long as you're filming and selling it, it's legal.
Oh, fighting woman, yeah, we move militant. Truth get exposed, ain't no sugarcoating it. If it's hot, we report it, we don't babysit. Press play, VIP, tap in, don't miss it. Yeah.
Diddy could be free. Yes, Diddy's sentence is under review. A major legal development tonight concerns Diddy, and he could be released sooner than expected. The Court of Appeals is currently reviewing his sentence in relation to the Mann Act, a federal law commonly used to prosecute the transport of persons across state borders for illegal activities. Diddy's defense team is making a bold argument. They claim the case doesn't fit the usual application of the law. Instead, they argue that the situation involved private, voluntary adult activity, which falls under the protection of the First Amendment. According to court records, the defense team describes the events as private recordings orchestrated for personal use, not for profit or public distribution. Therefore, they say it should not be considered a criminal violation under this law. The prosecutors completely disagreed, calling the argument unfounded and upholding the original verdict. Currently, the judges are actively listening to both sides, and their decision could have a significant impact not only on this case, but also on how similar laws are interpreted in the future. The outcome is still uncertain at this point, but there is a chance for Diddy to be free. Do you think Diddy should be released? Leave a comment.
A few moments later.
There is a good chance that Diddy could be eating dinner at his home tonight, a free man. And that's because an appeals court is now hearing the review of the trial in which Diddy was convicted of violating the Mann Act. And his defense lawyers are making two arguments that could sway these judges and make them overturn the conviction. Let me explain both. So the first is that the defense says that the violation of the Mann Act is to prohibit the transportation of prostitutes across state lines, and it's typically for commercial purposes. That's where they've used it before. In this case, the defense is saying this is nothing more than kinky porn, and kinky porn is protected by the First Amendment. Now, that may sound crazy, but I'm going to read you something from their brief. Listen to this. They say, freak-offs and hotel nights were highly choreographed sexual performances involving the use of costumes, role play, and staged lighting, which were filmed so Combs and his girlfriends could watch this amateur pornography later. Pornography production and viewing of this sort is protected by the First Amendment and thus cannot constitutionally be prosecuted. So what they're saying is, look, if you want to use the Mann Act to prosecute people who are moving prostitutes across state lines for commercial transactions, which again is what it's usually used for, that's one thing. But here, there's no commercial purpose. Diddy lost money. He ended up paying the prostitutes. The films were never distributed to anybody. The defense is saying it was for his pleasure and the pleasure of people who may have been participating. So they're saying, look, this is like any porn. It could be OnlyFans. It could be anything like that. And all of that is constitutionally protected and shouldn't be prosecuted. So that's one argument. And I got to say, it is an interesting argument. The prosecutors are saying it's meritless, but I wouldn't be so quick to judge it that way. So we don't know what the prosecution is going to say beyond that in court. But these judges, as I'm recording right now, the judges are hearing these arguments.
Let's look out below.